Okay, guys, I'm starting a fundraiser. It's radically different from any fundraiser you've probably ever seen before. I've never done a fundraiser before, so this is my first time. Please help me out. I've put my Venmo address as my image. I made an actual Facebook fundraiser, and this is about legal reform. And at first it might seem like I'm fighting against somebody or I'm angry or some I'm arguing that some great justice has befallen me. That's not the case at all. Um, just because of the time that I am in my life, I have a couple cases that I could have gotten dismissed um, using various tricks or hiring a lawyer to use various tricks. I decided to in one case I decided to go into the courtroom myself and see what it was like. And there's also, I believe, cases where I can um, countersue because I saw some things which were illegal. That they break laws in the way that, for example, collection is done, or in the way that defendants are treated. So, I mean, again, I'm not angry. I'm not angry at any specific firm or any specific lawyer or anything, but it's the industry in general. And the only way to change things is um, legally is to go through cases, is to actually go to court. 98% of the time, people settle out of court, or people don't show up and they get a default judgment. When somebody settles out of court, that the decision, there is no decision. Okay, so when there is a decision, you begin to build up precedents. One of the ways that the court works is, or doesn't, I believe, doesn't work to help the common person is it's very archaic. It's based on paper, faxes, stamps, emails, and the technology simply doesn't change on its own. A judge might decide to, for example, in the case that where I went before the judge told opposing counsel that he only accepts email, PDF, documents, and they had sent a big pile of papers over, which they intended to charge me for, right? So it's not that the lawyer is evil or the law firm is bad. It's industry standards. So in order to make the industry work better, you have to push back on the system. Same with I have a speeding ticket. Speeding. I'm not a speeder. You know, I turn it on cruise control and I sit in the right hand lane most of the time. But sometimes I get caught in speed traps, as do we all. That's the nature of speed traps. They're there to do that, and I think it's one of the ways that the police can make money that the state doesn't get to take 90% of it. So, um, but these things have to change. And the only way they don't have to change, but I believe that, um, you know, uh, it would be better. We're heading into some dark times. Doesn't matter if Biden or Trump wins. We are headed into some dark days, and um, if 98% of the cases never make it to court, then the 2% that do, um, if there's any way to change the system, it's got to be based on those. It's like, what is it, Lawrence versus Texas, where the landmark case about gay rights. Um, you know, so we're sort of waiting. It's like a lottery. We're just waiting, in some ways, hoping that some case will come and change things. Now, these are all civil cases because John is not a criminal, even though you might think I'm a criminal because I'm always talking about Bitcoin. These these are not these are civil cases, but it's the law is the same, right? The standards of evidence can be improved greatly. The practices can be made so much better, and it makes it better for everybody. It makes it better for the plaintiffs. It makes, God knows these guys don't want to be involved in. Of course, they want to win, but they want to win a case that they can feel good about. I'm sorry, but there's no lawyer out there that's going to feel happy. Um, having a 20-year career of screwing over people on technicalities when the technology could be increased, right? And so this is sort of how this plays into the blockchain stuff that I'm talking about, which is eventually you would drive the courts to this um, immutable ledger, this system where the archaic practices of using papers and faxes and are eliminated, right? Because then that brings down the cost of lawyers. Lawyers can't, if lawyers are doing things like that, if the boring parts of their jobs are taken out, which is one of the claims that blockchain technology makes, then the cost comes down, right? Then you can have more cases. And let me stress again why it's important. The law can only change through legal decisions. You can't get a right? The Supreme Court can't just say stuff. It has to be based on decisions. And so I am pushing stuff through, and I'm using myself. I'm using myself and the things that are coming at me at hand in order to do this. And the way that it works, the way I see that it works, is just shocking. It's not something that I think that the justice system can be proud of or would be proud of. It could be so much better if we participate. And the people that will benefit most are, frankly, I see a lot of black women in court trying to do whatever. They're not. This doesn't benefit folks like me for the most part. I'll just stop driving. I'll just Uber. You only have a midlife crisis once in life, so I'm not going to have a whole bunch of these cases in 10 years to screw around with. But I'm just, using myself basically as a testing ground for these ideas. And this is part of my business model going forward. Even, building up a way to help and support other people while moving the practices to something that makes more sense. And because once you have decisions, and I can only imagine that as I'm sitting in court, stumbling through, trying to understand what I'm supposed to say, what I'm supposed to do, I know that the judge and perhaps even the plaintiff would have actually loved for me to say the right things at the right time, put that right document in there. May have been shocking to them or upsetting at first, but I think overall it would have been better. You have to understand, I'm trying to make things better. The only way to make things better is to, as Jeff Bezos says, kick over that log and see what crawls out. But not quite. Just actually use the system. We're not using the system. We, the people, are not using the system. Voting is not enough. This is another way to, to change things. Some folks say, well, we should defund the police. Okay. Why don't we start by doing things like this, right? By just having real conversations with not just the police officer, because that's just a person bringing evidence into the system, but with the court system itself. That's where things must change. It's one of the branches of government. I mean, it's huge. It's huge. So that is why I'm doing this. Please, just anything you can give to help would be so appreciated. I have Venmo. My image on Facebook is my Venmo. You can just send to Venmo. Of course, I accept cryptocurrency, but it's not a thing yet. And it will be, though. It will be. I have a Facebook thing through Stripe, so you can pay through that, and they'll take their 2% fee or whatever. So, anyway, that's it. That's it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And um, you know, maybe you could even do this yourself. Right? That would be almost better. Go do this yourself. Go push back on if you happen to have a case. Don't see it as necessarily a in the debt categories. You can put it over to the asset category. This is something that you can do, that you can change. You can tell other people about this, and it's not just about speeding tickets. I mean, as long as you haven't raped somebody or killed somebody or done something that's truly heinous, this is the place where we can make the law better, and that will cascade over everywhere. It will. I'm serious. Okay. So thank you so much for supporting me.